I'd like to welcome everybody out to our April 17th meeting of the Lake Dallas Independent School District Board of Trustees. We do have a quorum established. Mrs. Tankersley is not here tonight. I would like to acknowledge Dr. Rue, Dr. Karen Rue, our interim superintendent. She'll be with us through the duration of our superintendent search, at least that long, right? Absolutely. Good. All right, our next item is our moment of silence. If you'd join me for that. Thank you very much. Our next item is our pledges of allegiance, and I believe we have some students from the middle school. Are they not? Don't have them here tonight? That's as close as I've got to a student from the middle school. We'll do it. Oh, no. Thank you very much. Our next item are our student recognition, staff and who writes this stuff? I'm just going to say these are our recognitions. All right, faculty and staff recognitions. There we go. All right, Dr. Heathcote, thank you.
So good evening, Dr. Rue and board. This evening we are excited to introduce you to our Lake Dallas ISD Teachers of the Year. Each of these individuals has shown exceptional leadership on their campuses and work hard to embody the mission and vision of the district. So prior to spring break, we were able to surprise each of these individuals on their campuses with members from the high school drumline as well as some cheerleaders that we had with us. And after the surprise, we were able to parade through the school so the students could congratulate them and all of their colleagues could celebrate them as well. So this evening, each of our principals will tell you a little bit about each of our teachers, and then we have a little video to show you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Avellino.
Good evening, Dr. Rue, Board of Trustees. Thank you again. Tonight, I'm honored to introduce you all to Lake Dallas High School Teacher of the Year, Sarah Schmidt. Sarah, if you could come join me. See your big smile while we're talking about you? All right. Ms. Schmidt currently serves as a librarian at Lake Dallas High School, but she has also served as both librarian of Lake Dallas Middle School and Lake Dallas High School at the same time. She is also awarded a 2021 Lake Dallas Education Foundation grant for building classroom libraries. So she's been busy in her tenure here in our district. But what I'd like to brag about most is the fact that Sarah has established a warm, welcoming environment in our brand new library. And with the aspect of education always first and foremost at her focus, we have kids in and out of there, and she's constantly showing them new things, getting on their reading list, suggesting the next thing, making sure teachers feel welcome to bring their classes down. And so we've gone from no library to having a library that really is the hub of our campus, and Sarah is responsible for that. So Lake Dallas High School is proud to introduce you to our Teacher of the Year, Sarah Schmidt. So we'll take pictures when it's done, if you want to hang out up here. Sure. And right now, I'll pass it over to Mr. Randall Caldwell.
Thank you for giving us this time to honor our Teachers of the Year. So Lake Dallas Middle School, this evening I'm excited to honor Mr. John Fabro. He'll come up and join me. Mr. Fabro is currently the Investigating Careers teacher at Lake Dallas Middle School as part of our CTE program, where he has dedicated his educational career to inspiring our students and fostering a love for learning for the past 9 years. Mr. Fabro began his teaching career at Lake Dallas ISD with 7th grade math. During his time at Lake Dallas Middle School, he has served as the student council representative, also the yearbook advisor, where he mentors students to foster positive culture, both on our campuses and in our community. And if you haven't read the newest release from the middle school, the most recent recognition that Mr. Fabro has brought to Lake Dallas Middle School is we have been recognized as a 2023 National Gold Council of Excellence. So we are very excited about that. He's also held a seat on many different campus committees for the district as well, and has led us in many new directions as he inspires our students and inspires our staff to bring out the best in each person on campus. So congratulations, Mr. Fabro. We are very excited to celebrate with you tonight. Congratulations. And Ms. Bovan from Corinth Elementary is next.
Good evening, Dr. Rue and Board of Trustees. I'd like to introduce Bethany Hoffman, the Corinth Elementary Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Bethany Hoffman believes that fostering a strong rapport and a supportive classroom community is essential to building successful academic and social achievement for students. Mrs. Hoffman developed her strength in mathematics and science education and strives to maintain classroom organization, structure, and community in order to create unique experiences for students. Her lesson plans intentionally address her students' wide range of skills and intelligences, which include multiple methods of motivation and a positive approach that encourages students to exceed expectations. Mrs. Hoffman soundly believes in hands-on learning through exploration. And I'll just add that even when I go in her classroom, I learn something as well. So she's awesome. Congratulations, Bethany. So now I'll turn it over to Mrs. Blevins.
Good evening. I'm excited to introduce Ms. Carmen Medeiros as the Lake Dallas Elementary Teacher of the Year. Ms. Medeiros teaches first grade bilingual at Lake Dallas Elementary. Ms. Medeiros' passion for our youth extends beyond the classroom. She is active in her community and church. In 2018, she was awarded the Chamber of Commerce Teacher of the Month. Ms. Medeiros believes in fostering an inclusive learning environment where all her students feel that their voices matter. It is an honor to introduce her tonight as Lake Dallas Elementary School's Teacher of the Year. And now I'd like to introduce Mrs. Bryant from Shady Shores Elementary.
Good evening. Shady Shores Elementary is excited to celebrate Miss Beth Lake as our Teacher of the Year. Beth Lake has taught in special education for 25 years and worked at both Corinth Elementary and now Shady Shores Elementary. At Shady Shores Elementary, she has taught the preschool program for children with disabilities, our PPCD. This truly became her happy place, where for 9 years she has had the privilege to watch tiny miracles happen right before her eyes. Being a part of such an important time in the little ones' lives is very rewarding. She gets to love on the cutest little falcons and has many opportunities to help educate and guide parents, making a strong impact on early education. Congratulations, Ms. Lake. Next, we would like to share some pictures from the Teacher of the Year Reveal Day that occurred last month. Enjoy.
Okay, looks like a photo op, right? All right, here we go.
Okay, are y'all ready? Here we go.
Hold on. Husband, come on up closer. Come on up closer. Come on. Yes. All right. Again, congratulations to the Teachers of the Year. That's awesome. Very awesome. Now we'll move into executive session. The open session of the meeting will adjourn. The Board of Trustees will reconvene in executive session pursuant to one or more of the sections of the Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, the Texas Government Code. The Board of Trustees will reconvene in open session to take any final action, decision, or vote on a matter deliberated in executive session, and it is 5:43. Okay, it is 7:21. We are back in open session. Due to a scheduling conflict, we are going to do our pledges again. We have some students from Lake Dallas Middle School that are going to help us with our pledges. Y'all go ahead and come on up front. All right, good job. Thank you. What? Huh? Oh. They're going to do it out there? Okay. All right. Our next item on our agenda is the public comment period. This is the time for citizens, staff, or students to provide their comments to the board. The Texas Open Meetings Act requires that every meeting of a governmental body be open to the public except for closed sessions as permitted by statute. A meeting that is open to the public under the act is one that the public is entitled to attend. However, the act does not give the public the right to speak at such public meetings except to redress their grievances through proper channels. As a courtesy to the public, the Lake Dallas Independent School District Board of Trustees allows time for public comments at regular meetings of the board. Statements and questions from the audience will not be permitted during other portions of the meeting. The board requests that comments on any subject be courteous and respectful. The public comment period is not intended for the presentation of complaints. The board will only consider complaints that remain unresolved after they have been addressed through proper administrative channels and when they have been placed on the agenda. I also caution you that your public comments should not complain about individual school employees by name or position pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074 unless that employee requests a public hearing after you have followed the district's grievance procedures, which are found in board policy. As presiding officer, I'm obligated to determine whether or not a person addressing the board has attempted to administratively resolve any complaints or grievances about which they want to address the board that involve district officers and employees. If that person has not sought to do so through the dispute resolution channels established by policy, he or she will be referred to the applicable policy in order to do so before addressing the board at a future meeting. Complaints and concerns of employees are covered by policy DGBA. Those of students and parents are covered by policy FNG, and those of the general public are covered by policy GF. In addition, please respect the privacy of Lake Dallas ISD students and do not identify or discuss any student other than your own child during your presentation. In order to have your comments heard tonight, your name and subject matter of your comments must appear on the sign-up sheet, which was located by the door when you came in. Lake Dallas ISD policy BED local limits each speaker to 5 minutes to complete his or her comments, up to a maximum of 30 minutes for all the public comments. I will strictly enforce the time limit. Finally, please note that by law, the Lake Dallas Independent School District Board of Trustees cannot lawfully respond, discuss, or make a decision on any matter raised in the public comment period, which is not specifically listed on the board agenda for this meeting. With these cautions in mind, we'll be now glad to hear the general comments. And we have Allison McCowan, who's here to speak on great teachers. She's just going to reaffirm what we know, it sounds like.
That's exactly right.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. And please excuse my voice. I was cheering really loudly this weekend at a baseball tournament. And yes, I'm not here to complain or voice any concerns. I am here to talk about great teachers. But I'm Allison McCowan. I was Corinth Elementary's Teacher of the Year last year, District Teacher of the Year, as well as a finalist for Regional Teacher of the Year. I say this not to imply that I hold any weight or I am not replaceable, because I don't hold any weight and I'm certainly replaceable. But it does speak to my resume of what a great teacher looks like and what a great teacher does. and great teachers are LDISD's greatest asset. I did not know Amy Rios' name before this year. Now, at CE, we all know her name. In just a matter of short few months, she has earned everyone's respect because of the work she has done for the Reset program at CE. I have worked at CE for 7 years. Every teacher that has worked at CE for years can and will agree that she has done the best job that anyone has done with the program. I wanted to make notes of a couple of things not only I, but other teachers have witnessed during her year at CE. The first few months, she worked until 8 or 9 p.m. every night, setting up 6 different curriculums with 6 different strategies for 6 different grade levels. Currently, she works until 5 or 6 every night. She works every weekend and all day on Sunday, prepping for the week. I know because I am there too. Her job takes a toll on her mentally, emotionally, and always physically, which I'm confident in saying that is more than a general education teacher. Yet that is not what she talks about at the end of the day. She talks about the progress of her students, or is always coming up with different ideas on how to help and encourage her students. I have never seen her once take a lunch or a conference period. She is always with her kids. She never voluntarily takes off work, often working through sicknesses and physical injuries. Yet she still forges on and puts Reset students' academic learning as the top priority, which we as teachers have not seen at CE and the ALE program as much as this year. She is constantly looking at ways to improve or positively enforce 16 kids of all ages, K through 5, all academic levels, behavior, and emotional needs. She does all of this for 16 students who need intense emotional, behavioral, and academic support with just her, a consistent parent, and maybe a sub. No one knew or realized how challenging it was in Reset because she made it look easy and had a system that ran as smoothly and with more academic rigor than we have seen in the past years. These 2 weeks with her have been an eye-opening experience for all of us, and hopefully a flashing signal for how much Mrs. Rios is needed and what she has done with the program. She has not asked me to stand up for her. She never seeks out praise and in fact is embarrassed by it. I am here as a voice for the voiceless. I am here to acknowledge a great teacher. On the banner of our website, it reads, Falcons First. Again, great teachers are our district's greatest asset. I urge the board and administration to always remember that teachers are Falcons too.
Thank you very much. Very nice comments. All right. We'll move on to our next item, which are the trustee reports, and we'll start down here with Mr. Baird.
I just want to say to our exiting Dr. Mike Rockwood, Godspeed. Did a good job while he was here. Great man, great family, and we're going to miss him. But then I want to welcome Dr. Karen Rue, who we've known, this board has known in the past. We've done training with her, and so we have a little bit of history. And she comes with a big, big resume. If you get time to read it, if you got the time, it's pretty long. But we appreciate you coming to help us and get us through this transition period, and glad to have you on board. Thanks.
All right, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
Want to echo good luck to Dr. Rockwood in his future endeavors. Thank you, Dr. Rue, for helping us out in this time. To the Falcon Nation, whatever, it's just amazing the things I've seen, because from last meeting to this meeting, we've just all been so busy, and I've sat down this weekend and the little time that I've had, and like, I'm going on a year now, and the year has gone by in the blink of an eye, and you all have accomplished so much with these kids, and just seeing them grow and the things that they've done. And like Mr. Caldwell knows how to get me to his events. You put out food, and especially it's the pit bosses from the high school. Yeah, I'm there in the blink of an eye. And oh, by the way, if they want to do a fundraiser at home football game next year, I'm all in there for the pit bosses. Those kids are awesome. But just everything that these kids have done, you know, they just had their prom. You got seniors looking towards graduation now, seeing that finish line, and all the hard work and love you've poured into these kids. We just thank you so much.
Ms. Collier.
I can never get this button over. You're watching it, right?
So sorry. Welcome, Dr. Rue. Thank you so much for stepping in. We appreciate you getting us through this transition. Teachers, administrators, staff, this is it. You're on the downhill slide. We're going to make it. We're going to make it to summer. Thank you so much for all that you do and for hanging in there with us. And I know the transition sometimes can be a little scary, but you got this. And enjoyed just some wonderful spring activities. The soccer boys, great success. Had a wonderful spring show that the High Steppers put on. So still lots of activities going on with our students, and it's so fun seeing it all. And just thanks for everything that you're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker.
I also want to thank Dr. Rockwood for what he did and what he brought to the district, and welcome Dr. Rue, and especially thank you to this administration, staff, and principals for stepping up. 21 days ago, we got the news, right, and y'all have had to pick up the slack, and so we appreciate that. Just continue to do what you're doing.
Thank you, Ms. McKinley.
All right, so as always, I'm thankful. I had the opportunity to go to the elementary school, the middle school, two elementary schools, middle school, for Career Day. And these are some wonderful thank you notes that I received. And that just does my heart well, just knowing how the little things that we do as the board by going and visiting these schools. And I know that Bruce and Scott also visited the schools as well, and talking to them and letting them see us examples, and that we are there for them and with them in the schools. One of the things too that I wanted to share with you guys in thanks for the teachers is me personally, my kids came from charter schools. And the reason why I moved my kids out of there is that one of them was really struggling and hated school, cried every day, begged me to homeschool them. We landed at Shady Shores. He was in the 5th grade. He had never passed a standardized test. Ms. Gladen pulled him in and pulled us in as parents to help us guide him. This kid, in his own words, is rocking high school, and that's what he said. And that's from so many people touching his life, believing in him, having faith in him. He's passed all of his standardized tests since, leaving, since coming here. And so I want to say thank you. Thank you to you guys for turning that around for my kid. I wholeheartedly believe in Lake Dallas ISD. I have trusted you with my most prized possession, and you guys have turned his life around. And I just thank you, from the athletic staff to the admins to the janitors. He knows everybody, and he talks to everybody, and everybody's so kind to him, and his peers have been kind to him. And I just want to say thank you. My mom's heart, my heart is overflowing. And I just love that he loves going to school. This kid has late arrival and early release, but man, he's there at 7-something in the morning, and he stays to the end because he wants to be available and he wants to help. And so thank you guys so much. Thank you for pouring into my son, and thank you to the teachers and, again, everybody that has touched him. That has gotten him to this point where he loves school so much that he won't come home. So I really wanted to share that. As far as all the events, if you missed the Kiss the Pig, I have a video for you. And it was really sweet. The kids, just all the cheering, and cheers to the PTA for raising $15,000. That is amazing. So congratulations to you and your efforts, Mrs. Blevins. And yeah, it's been a great week with baseball games, and with, you guys have movie nights and muffins with moms, and I mean, so many things that are going on. And I love to be able to talk about those things because we do have great things going on at Lake Dallas, and you guys have taken all of these things that we said we were going to do, and you're putting them into place. And you're involving the community and the family, and you're ensuring that our students are growing, and I really appreciate that. And just want to acknowledge you guys and your staff and everybody else that's involved in this, in making this the best school possible for our students. So again, thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Again, I'd like to thank Dr. Rockwood for his service here. It's a big loss, but we know we've done it before. We hired him. We know we can hire another good one. It's kind of a pat on the back, if you will, and it is flattering when other districts come calling. So I know we can find us another superintendent that the staff will enjoy working for, and that we will enjoy working with. It's going to be hard work, but bear with us. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through graduation. We're going to get through the rest of this year. Dr. Rue's going to help us. Watch her. All right, good things to come. I appreciate it. Our next item, superintendent reports. It's your turn.
Well,
we get to hear from you directly.
Thank you. And I immediately want to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to work with you. It's my honor to be here and support you. I know that you have a tremendous responsibility, and that you will no doubt do outstanding in your search. And anything I can do to help you as you do that. And I have to tell you that I enjoyed so much getting to meet very talented educators in this room tonight. I think I have met each person sitting here. I'll tell you, you have such a talent in your principals and your administrators in the district. This is an outstanding school system, and collectively, from board leadership to administrative leadership, that tells the tale, and that is why you do. So thank you for that. Quickly, I do have a few things, because some very talented person by the name of Miss Broadstreet helped me with this, but good news, and I'll just share them quickly. 21 student athletes signed letters of intent last week. They'll be going on to participate in their collegiate level athletics with a good background behind them. Coach Pam Lisenby, did I pronounce her name correctly? Lisenby? Lisenby, okay, all right. DATCU Teacher of the Month, and I saw that in the local paper myself, so congratulations to her. Lady Falcon golfer Waverly Harper is representing Lake Dallas in the Region 1 5A Golf Championships today and tomorrow. So we will know when she returns from Lubbock about her experience. We wish her well. Then several Falcons and Lady Falcons will be competing in area track. This is the best part of spring. You've got baseball, softball, track, field and track. So they'll be competing area track meet in Joshua at Joshua High School this Friday, and they're seeking to advance to the next level. So congratulations to all of these outstanding Lady Falcons and Falcons.
All right, thank you very much. Our next item are the consent agenda items. Those are the routine items that can be handled in one motion. Do you have any questions or comments regarding consent? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Motion to approve by Mr. Tucker. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. McKinley. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of approval, please indicate. And that passes 6-0. Thank you. Our next items are action items, the first of which is Student Health Advisory Council, or SHAC.
Correct.
Dr. Heathcote, thank you.
All right, good evening again, board. So this evening we are asking you to consider appointing members to the Student Health Advisory Council, which we reviewed last month. As a reminder, this most closely aligns to our parent and family community support piece under the strategic plan. And then as a reminder, SHAC is a district level advisory council that's authorized in board policy EHAA legal. And the SHAC does hold regular meetings and does report back to the board, and we expect that soon as well, likely in May, for them to come back with some recommendations for you to look at. So membership does consist of the board annually appointing 5 individuals to the SHAC committee. The SHAC should consist of no more than 25 individuals and no less than 10 members, and the majority of those individuals being parents who don't necessarily work for the district. And then members may serve 3-year terms, but multiple terms are permitted. And so the recommendations that we brought to you last month are the individuals listed here. They are currently active members of our SHAC committee and come to all of the meetings and are very involved. And so with that, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Heathcote. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion on this item. Motion to approve by Mr. Smith. Do I have a second? Second by Mrs. Collier. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of approval, please indicate. And that's unanimous, 6-0. Our next item is a board resolution. And I'll just go ahead and read this out loud unless you have any comment you need to make on this. No? Yes? You may.
Outside of a hearty amen.
All right. I'll just go ahead and read it. We'll go from there. The Board of Trustees, Lake Dallas Independent School District resolution regarding vouchers, education, savings accounts, taxpayer savings grants, and other mechanisms that reduce public education funding. State of Texas, County of Denton, whereas Article 7, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution requires that the Texas Legislature establish and make suitable provision for the support and maintenance of an efficient system of public free schools. Whereas Texas public schools, school districts accept every student, whereas education savings accounts and other voucher schemes give private schools, not parents, the right to choose. Whereas Texas public schools adhere to state mandated academic and financial accountability standards, whereas private schools are not required to meet the same academic standards as public schools, and they do not report test results, graduation rates, and other performance measures to the public, whereas school choice already exists in the Texas via public school districts, charter schools, inter and intra-district transfers, home schools, virtual schools, and private schools, whereas education savings accounts and similar voucher schemes eliminate public accountability of schools and tax dollars, whereas using tax dollars to pay for tuition at private and religious schools would grow into a costly entitlement program, whereas a taxpayer-funded voucher program would reduce the amount of the state funds available for all schools, harming many rural Texas communities where families have few, if any, private school options, and whereas Texas parents who accept a voucher would lose out on a long list of important parental rights outlined in the Texas State Education Code and in federal law, especially protections for students receiving special education services. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Lake Dallas ISD Board of Trustees calls on the Texas Legislature to reject any diversion of public dollars to private entities in the form of education savings accounts, and similar voucher schemes. Is there any question or comment regarding the resolution? If not, I'll entertain a motion on the resolution. Motion to approve by Mr. Baird. Do I have a second? Second by Mrs. McKinley. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate. And that passed and approved on this 17th day of April 2023, 6-0. Thank you very much. And amen? Is that how you said it on that one? Our next item are future items, the first of which is the early notice incentive update. Dr. Heathcote.
Right. So board, I'm just going to let you know that Ms. Landrum next month will be giving you some information on the early notice incentive. If you remember, in January you did approve this for this current school year, but you had some questions about the effectiveness of it and what other districts were doing, and so she has been collecting that information, and so we will give you a report on what other districts are doing and some different options that we have for coming years, so that you have some time to think about that before we get to that point again next year.
Okay, any questions or comments? Nope. Our next one is the clear bag policy.
Okay, so as you know, many places that you visit now do have a clear bag policy. Many of the districts, if not all of the districts that we play in athletics, have a clear bag policy that our parents are having to abide by whenever they visit those campuses for those events. Lake Dallas ISD is looking at a clear bag policy to implement for next school year, and so next month you will hear from Mr. Caldwell, Ms. Avellino, and Coach Head on what that would look like, an implementation process, and just really the whole piece of how we would communicate it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? No? Thank you very much. Our next items are information items, the first of which is the 2023-2024 calendar adjustment regarding graduation.
Okay, so I told you guys whenever we originally looked at the calendar options, remember this is for next school year, the 23-24 school year, that we may have to make a minor adjustment, and we were able to schedule graduation for our seniors for the year 2024, and so we need to make an adjustment to the calendar. So again, our academic calendar aligns most closely with student success. It is an academic calendar. And here is the calendar that you approved. We have confirmed graduation again for 2024 to be at the University of North Texas Coliseum, and it will take place on Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. Don't get that confused with this year. You show up too early. At 5 p.m. And so the adjustment that we will be making to the 23-24 calendar is an early release day on May 22nd. Are there any questions?
Any questions or comments from the board? I'm putting this on my calendar. No, if not.
Next year.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to get there while I got it pulled up. All right. Our next item is our strategic plan update.
Okay, so for our strategic plan update, this month we are talking about efficient operations. So to kind of take you back from where we came from on the strategic plan, we started back in the spring of 2022. It's hard to believe that it has been over a year at this point since we started that process. But we had a community committee as well as the senior leadership team here in the district. Dr. Rockwood attended a listening and learning tour at all 5 campuses and engaged individuals in a SWOT analysis identifying the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for the district. And then we had a community and stakeholder survey where we had over 2,000 responses that helped us get to the balanced scorecard, which established 8 belief statements for students, parents and family, faculty and staff, campus leadership, district leadership, and the school board. We created a new mission statement and reaffirmed the vision as well as the slogan. And then 4 priorities were set with objectives under each of those priorities. And so this month we are looking at efficient operations, and we are going to specifically be looking at objective 4.3 under efficient operations, which is student safety. And so with that, I am going to turn it over to Mr. Modica to give you an update.
Good evening, Dr. Root. Good evening, board. So as Dr. Hiko said, we'll be covering efficient operations and specifically 4.3, safe school environment. So I can tell you the items that we'll cover tonight is not a comprehensive list. There's many factors in play as far as safety measures and safeguards we have in place for our students and staff each day on campuses. So this first slide here, these would actually be recent updates or even additions made from previous bond monies that's been under construction, or even recent updates or mandates from Texas School Safety Center. So the first being as our front secure entrance on all our instructional campuses, as well as here at the Central Services Building. You've experienced this, no doubt, when you're on campuses. You can enter through the front doors, but then you do not have access to classrooms, students. You don't even have access to the front office. You have to be physically buzzed in by front office personnel. The second plays hand in that. We've secured our exterior campus doors. We've taken many strides in ensuring that. There's actually 2 layers to this that Texas School Safety Center has pushed out. One being this past summer, we had to do an extensive door audit. So every exterior door on every instructional campus was checked by ourselves, the maintenance and facilities teams, Mr. Talbert's team, or our campus admin themselves. We went to every door to make sure it's secure, latching properly, and operational. So that was phase 1. Another piece to this, as you were well aware of, made and briefed in the fall, is TEA and Region 11 specifically did what they call door inspections. So there's 2 phases with these door inspections. So at some point throughout the year, unannounced, a third-party vendor with Region 11 would come to our campus and basically inspect at least 3 doors. And what they're looking for is a door that's ajar, not secure, or not operational. If at any point they encounter a door or can enter our building, phase 1 is over. They go to the front office and they talk to the administration. Every campus that underwent one of these inspections this year was successful. They all passed these audits, meaning that phase 1, every door that was approached was secure and they could not enter our buildings, which is great. Phase 2 of that is they go to the front office and they essentially go through our visitor policy, our visitor protocol, if you will, to make sure we're following our own procedures. One being that they are greeted, get through this secure front entrance, and then are asked who they are and their purpose for campus, and then present an ID. So as I said, that was done successfully by our campuses each time that was undertaken this year. The last 3 really also play hand in hand here. One thing that we did this year, at the beginning of the year, was we numbered both sides of our exterior doors. So you can see a big number on the outside as well as the inside. This really helps with logistics and communication amongst our staff. So when they're responding to an event or they need to get to a certain part of the building, they can easily reference a door number. This really goes well in hand with our first responders. So when they're communicating with campuses or the campus admin, they can tell them a specific door so that they can render aid or get to the scene more efficiently, whatever it may be. And the last 2 bullets there really play into that as well. We made sure before school started here in August that all first responders, so our Lake City's Fire and our 3 surrounding police departments, had updated floor plans and maps with our campuses, especially after the updates from the bond, with those new door number systems, electronic and physical. And the last piece there is building access. So we made sure all our Knox boxes were up to date, had updated master keys and key fobs. A Knox box, if you're not familiar, that's how fire departments enter a building. They know specifically where those Knox boxes are. They have a key, only they have a universal key, and then they can access our building. For our police departments, it looks a little different. They all have their own key fobs. Corinth PD even has it's tied to their device on their person. So either way, every first responders has access to our buildings, so they're not having to call admin. They're not having to search for a key. They can go directly into our buildings when needed. This next slide would be more continuous safeguards, safety measures we have in place. These have been in place for several years. The first being surveillance. So we do have cameras on our campuses. Our staff and students know that. We have well over 500 cameras on campus, or campuses. And truly, we're constantly updating those, constantly pushing out new software as needed, and installing new ones as needed. Our campus admin plays a big factor in this because they're more frequent on that camera system. So as soon as they see something out of place, something that's not operational, they let Mr. Dabney and his team know, and it's rectified quickly. The second bullet there, our Say Something anonymous reporting system. In the name kind of tells you what it is, but it's an anonymous reporting system for any stakeholder. So student, staff, parent, community member. It allows them to report to the campus a safety concern, a safety threat, and this can be very specific to a student, self-harm, whatever the case may be, or even a campus-wide threat. That is monitored 24/7 by a call center in Florida, depending on the threat. That is either handled immediately by local responders, or it's kicked to the campuses where they can handle it at the local level. So that is a good system in place. And then finally, the last bullet there, we are compliant on all safety regulations put out by Texas Safety Center and TEA. And the ones that you're probably most familiar with are our safety response protocols or just our safety drills, right? Everyone's familiar with evacuation, fire, shelter in place, and those things. I can tell you we are far exceeding the compliance from the state. Each campus does at least one of these drills, and many times they're coupling drills together. So they'll do a secure and then to an evacuation, or they'll do an evacuation back into a shelter in place. So many times they're combining these drills, so we far exceed the compliance with the state. The last piece I'll speak on here, we've made a great effort this year to also train our substitutes in these safety response protocols. So that way, no matter any adult on our campus, they know the verbiage we're using, they know the next steps to take in the event we go into one of these exercises or even a real event. And as Dr. Hiko said, we've been running through our strategic plan, updating on progress. You get a little break, just a couple months, but back in August, we'll be back here doing our normal updates to the board, and I believe we'll start with student success, will be 1.1. But with that, any questions from the board?
Thanks, sir. Any questions or comments from the board? Nope. Appreciate the hard work on this.
You got it.
Good job. Thank you very much. Our next item is our board member continuing education announcement. Under State Board of Education rule, completing required continuing education each year of service is a basic obligation and expectation of any sitting board member. As board president, I'm required to announce the name of each member who has completed the required continuing education, has exceeded the required continuing education, and is deficient in meeting the required continuing education. The CEC training progress overview report is included in the packet, showing that all of you not only completed your required training for the year, but each of you has exceeded it. The report shows that Courtney Tankersley is incomplete because she stepped into the role mid-year, graciously agreeing to complete the seat of a resigned trustee until the May election this year. We look forward to welcoming Mr. Aaron Appleby, there he is, right back there, to the board next month to fill that seat. Thank you, trustees, for your commitment as board members, not only for completing the required training, but exceeding it. Good job, everybody. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
This came to my attention today, and it's just an appropriate time to share this. This is a note from TASB to your board president, Mr. Lance Stacy. Congratulations on 15 years of service as a school board member. We deeply appreciate your dedication to Texas school children and your community. Thank you for all you do.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Well, cool. I think it's actually 15 years next month, but that's pretty cool. Thank you. All right, our next item is our upcoming meetings and events. And that's you? All right, good, because I know it's not me.
There we go. I can be a bit more smooth next month. How's that? Okay, list of upcoming events. This week, all 3 elementaries will be hosting kindergarten programs and open house. You have not yet begun. Is that later this week? Okay. The district will host a dyslexia parent night tomorrow here at the Central Services Building. Special guest speaker, Miles Gladden. Gladden. I did it right on the first attempt. Okay. Also an LDISD graduate, currently working on his doctorate at TWU. So it's good to have people return and support us. First week of May, pre-K and kindergarten roundup is scheduled for May 3rd at all 3 elementaries. And you'll get to meet an awful lot of new young Falcons coming in the door. And then the LDISD retirement reception is set for May 4th at Lake Dallas High School. And we look forward to doing that. I look forward to being a part of that as well and getting to meet some more outstanding educators here at Lake Dallas. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rue. That's all the business that we have for this evening. It is 8 o'clock, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
All right. Good meeting. Yeah, we did.